It began simple enough, looking for a burger and a beer. Using his new Android cell phone, Lincoln Police Chief Tom Casady was trying to find a place to eat in a strange city. Pushpins began popping up on his phone, giving him a multitude of choices. That's when he said he had a moment of clarity.
As I was doing that, I was thinking to myself, I have all the parts and pieces of this exact same functionality for things like crimes and registered sex offenders and parolees and gang members and people with arrest warrants. And I thought I could be delivering this information to police officers in the same way that the information about restaurants is being delivered to me.
If you've ever used GPS, the global positioning system, in your car or through your phone, you know what you're doing is accessing data sets of mobile information. Casady's idea was to merge that information into a useful device.
This is called a location-based service. That's when you take the GPS capabilities of a mobile device and marry it with a database in a mapping application. You've got location-based services. And they're really quite common. There'll be thousands of people today that are looking for Thai food and Wells Fargo ATMs and Starbucks in cities that they're unfamiliar with.
Casady didn't do it alone. Ian Cottingham is the director of Computing Innovation Group, which is part of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln.
So what we did is we built the software that runs on the mobile devices. We built the software that displays a map and plots where persons of interest are for the police and does all of the geo-tracking. The software we built knows where you are, and as you drive around, it knows what's going on around you and is able to display that.
Cottingham says within a couple of weeks of receiving a $300,000 grant from the National Institute of Justice, they had a working prototype.
We developed it for 5 primary different devices. We developed it to run on iPhones, on iPads, on Motorola Droid phones, and Motorola Zoom tablets. And we also developed a version that will run in a web browser so that it's designed to run on the computers that are actually in the officers' cars.
What they created is called P3i, Proactive Police Patrol Information. Again, Chief Casady.
What's really novel about this and what really sets us apart is that we're leveraging the GPS capability of the newer mobile devices to provide information to officers where they are.
And where they are is out on the streets of Lincoln. 3 officers, like Officer Nate Flood, have been test driving P3i.
H&R block 23650, contact Kelly.
Flood says just in the couple of weeks he's been using P3i, the new law enforcement tool has made his job more efficient.
Before P3i, we'd have warrant details where we would research warrants, print out a list. You'd have to look and see when the warrant was issued, go pull their picture, pull their vehicles, do some research, maybe where they work. It could easily take to research 20 warrants, easily an hour and a half maybe, to pull up all that information that P3i can bring up. But just in, as you saw, just a matter of minutes.
It may sound like an obvious marriage of police work and technology, but Casady says he doesn't know of any other law enforcement agency using the information this way. Cottingham says what Lincoln PD has done is create their own cloud.
The Lincoln Police Department has what we would call a cloud, which is a set of computers which have data on them. And the data in this case is information about people of interest. So people with warrants, people with broadcasts, registered sex offenders, people of that nature. And so the idea is that no matter where the officer is based and no matter what device they're carrying, as long as the device knows how to talk to that cloud, it's able to get the information that the officer needs.
Back on the streets of Lincoln, Officer Flood says P3i doesn't replace anyone or anything, but it is rather a new means of helping him keep the public safe.
5 occupants seem to be passing a joint.
It's going to make my job easier, and if my job's easier, we can contact more people. It doesn't take away from what our job is. It just enhances our job to the point where, we can do a lot more within the community for what we have.
Police departments have long used geographic information systems to visualize the location of crimes and addresses of persons of interest. Still, Cottingham says the Lincoln PD approach is unique.
So a lot of law enforcement agencies have a robust amount of geospatial data, which is the data that really makes P3i work, but they haven't started using it in the way that's possible with mobile devices.
That's what Lincoln PD is doing, and that information is now at a finger's touch. Riding with Officer Flood, he demonstrated how P3i not only makes him more efficient, he also told me it keeps him safe at the same time. If we're driving by this house, you're not going to stop by yourself.
If he's outside,
you might.
Yeah. You'd obviously call dispatch, you get on the radio and say, hey, I'll be out on a party with a warrant at this address. 9 times out of 10, they're going to allow me to take them into custody. And then there's always that one person who doesn't want to go, right. And it's either going to be a foot chase, a fight, but they already know where I'm at. And that's what's great about the automatic vehicle locator. Let's just say I didn't have time to get on the radio, and all of a sudden I'm calling for help because he's fighting with me. Well, I never got my location out. They can see right where I'm at.
As of April 15th, Lincoln PD has 45 patrol units equipped with P3i, the same P3i app soon available to the public as a download. The public version will have access to only that information already available to the public, but in a smartphone app. For NET News, I'm Jonathan Ash.